Hey everybody, we are live. I think I hit the button and we're good to go. How are you doing, Connor?
I thank you, dude. I'm doing good, dude. I can't wait to watch you stumble through your first line. I'm just messing with
Yeah,
you.
I
No,
know.
I'm doing
So
great, man. I'm doing great.
yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time. For those in the chat, I really thank everyone here so far. This is actually the first live stream for those that are here. You're going to be seeing a lot of probably stumbles and clicks and things like that. But I got my today my wingman. Usually I'm your wingman sometimes on your streams, but I got Connor from Hot Toys Hotline here. I really thank you so much for taking about an hour out of your time today
Of course, man.
to hang out with me and to discuss something I want to talk about. So thank you for being here, of course.
Of course.
Thank you. I'll go through the chat and see who's here. We actually have a couple of people in here. Of course, Insane One, who I had this thing posted like a week ago to hopefully gain some traction. I thought I'd have maybe my whole goal was if I had like two people in the chat, that was a win for me. But Insane One, obviously the first one here, I think he posted this like a week ago, so he was there. We got Payton. What's up, man? Some guy, of course. Let's go. Show some love to our brother. Thank you so much as always. Let's see. The Collector. Got the popcorn ready. Eddie Rodriguez. Not too much going on in the YouTube world. Yeah, 7 o'clock was a pretty good time to do this. It's only gonna be about an hour, guys. Wanted to give you some insight, just doing a live stream for the first time. And I was talking to Connor about this off stream, but a lot of things testing out for the first time, doing a stream, hosting it on my own. But also the technical side to this. I gave Connor a lot of props. There's a lot of preparation that goes into even doing a very basic stream. Like we're just going to talk about like a top 5 list, but a lot of work that actually goes into preparing for this. So like I said, I picked 7 o'clock, about an hour just to run through some stuff and kind of maybe get the training wheels taken off and see how we go for the first go around. But let's see. Nicolo the Great and Powerful, looking forward to this. Hope you clear 1,000. We're getting there. Appreciate that. We got Eddie again. We're looking forward to the stream. Don Prime, thank you so much, buddy.
Boy,
Representing
what's
Geeking
up?
Out. Those are our boys over there. Who else we got? Matt, first live stream. Yep, this is an event, so hopefully more to come. If this doesn't crash and sink like the Titanic, yeah, there'll be more live streams to come in the future, definitely. Who do we got? Miss anybody? Collecting Madness. There's your boy Chris. Unfortunately, I tried getting Chris in here tonight, but he had some prior engagements. But definitely, we're going to do something in the future as always. Who do we got here? Control Alt Delete. Hello to all. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Austin, Nicholas. Look at all the people in the chat already. I really appreciate that. What we got? Don Prime. Smoke them if you got them. Oh man, I love all the support that I'm getting. I really do appreciate it. Really just appreciate it. Insane One, feed the algorithm, leave a like and subscribe. Let's see. Oh, and Austin saying, I don't want to jinx it. He's saying, I'm not going to say it out loud. I'll just leave the
Austin, hey,
comment up
look, guys. I'm gonna say this right now.
there.
You guys need to stop because you know what happens every time you get to a goal
It's
is
going to
people play
happen. I
jokes
already
on you.
know.
So don't
I
play
already
any jokes
know.
because they did it to me. I'm sure you all remember. Some of y'all, you're some familiar face here. Remember, I hit 750 and everybody starts unsubbing. So
What
guys,
was it? Three chances at 750. So
right, exactly. When we
I'm
get to
not
the end of
saying
the
this.
stream, yeah,
I'm not reading this comment out loud. I'll leave it up for a moment. Yeah, it's what it says, but I'm not saying it out loud. So we're gonna leave it at that. So, like I said, so the whole point of the stream was to basically, I had an idea, and to give people some insight. Connor has a very well established, I say very well, one of the best established streams out there in YouTube. I was fortunate to come on board as a guest panel member for I don't know, when you're what, like 500 subs, and you skyrocketed five six
yeah,
hundred maybe.
maybe a little bit less, maybe I
Yeah,
was in
so
like
I
the
was there
400
when
range. Yeah,
got pretty much 1,000 subs and you skyrocketed. So and that being said, I knew there would become a point, I hit a crossroads where I wanted to start doing a couple live streams myself, but I didn't want to do the same old thing where it's like, hey, what everyone else is doing. So for the time being, for the next couple live streams, these are basically gonna be like opinionated videos that I was gonna film, pre-record, put them up, and 5 people watch them. But you know what? I thought, I'll do is, instead of doing opinionated videos, why not just do them live? Because I like interacting with people, like that interaction. Even if I'm solo and there's people in the chat, I like that idea of interacting with people, because an opinionated video really isn't much to say when it's just my opinion. So therefore, I thought, well, why not just record them? Record them, put them out there. There's no editing, just record them, put them up. And so that's what I wanted to do. So what I wanted to do is I'll put it up first, and then we'll jump back in and check out because there's more comments coming through. But the big thing that I want to talk about, which I think it gets addressed here and there, but I wanted it to be an actual topic, was the graveyard. And that was one of the things I talked about, or it was a thought in my head was, we always do top 5 lists, Connor, about, what would you like to see from Hot Toys, in the future? What would you like to see? What would you like to see? Well, Hot Toys they're a big company. They're the largest. I would say they're the top dog when it comes to 1/6 scale figures right now, at least. And with that being said, they make an awful lot of stuff, but also there's a lot of stuff that hits the cutting room floor, so to speak, that they show it off, they tease us, and they don't produce it, So it's what it is. And I had this idea of, if Howie gave us the ability to resurrect 5 figures from the graveyard, what would they be? And I have a list in my head. I asked you, what was your list? We compared lists. It's all right. And we're going to run through them go through them one by one, kind of get an idea. But let me address it at chat because there's more people trickling in. Let's back it up a little bit. Where are we right now? Pop culture. There's my boy right there. He's saying, yo, thank you so much for your support, man. Costa. Thank you so much for the support. Who else do we got? Who did I miss? Big. How can I miss? See, I'm doing rookie stuff right here. Rookie stuff. Big Dog Pound 1. Giving us a little woo. There you go. My voice cracks.
Come on. All right. That wasn't
you do it. You do it so much better. If I do it, my voice is gonna
Ryan's
crack.
a little nervous. He's getting started, so I got to take over from it. It's okay. I got you.
I drink the coffee.
Woo! There we go. Come on now. It's Big Dog Pound, bro. We got to do it up right, and we don't have Chris here with the wrestling belt, man.
Kiss stealing, son of a gun. There you go. So, but that being said, we're gonna run through, and I was telling people. And I'm just going to flip through some of these photos. Let me comment there. So, like I said, Connor, you give me some thoughts here, but I got a couple slides pulled up, and I just want to give some people clarity of how I came about all this information. There's a gentleman on Facebook. I don't want to dare pronounce his name because I'll get it wrong, but he is credited in the description of this video that he actually compiled all this stuff on Facebook. It's the gentleman. I can't say his name, but he does all the analytics for all the groups. Like anytime there's a release, he has spreadsheets. He has a database that's actually on, I believe it's 6 Scale Network, where you can actually download a database of all the figures that have been released, each quarter. I know the gentleman. We all know him. I just don't want to say his name out loud because I'm really going to butcher it, but I have him credited in the description. I have his Facebook page. I have all the appropriate credits there because this is his compilation of stuff that he put together. And it's the most complete list to date. Obviously, some things have changed, but I just wanted to, Connor, what are your thoughts about this as I flip through these photos of the first few of figures that we kind of wish we saw, but we don't have right now?
Ryan, what are my thoughts on this? Well, Ryan, that's a loaded question because every time I see these photos, it makes me cry a little bit. I think all of us here at the chat could agree. I mean, the tears don't fall. If you guys are a part of that era of music, I'm sure that plays in your head when you see this. But man, like, Ryan, there's a lot of stuff on here, and you told me to pick only 5, and I'm like, really, only 5? Because I could pick many more. There's just so much good stuff here, right? And it's like, I think when we look at these photos, there's just something for everybody here. And there's a dream figure for everybody in one of these photos. And it's like whether you're Star Wars or Marvel, or even you could see here properties that don't really get touched ever are being shown here in these photos. And we got Ripley the Power Loader, dude. Like there's just some amazing stuff here that Hot Toys has unfortunately teased us with, but never did anything with it. So Ryan, to put it shortly again, it makes me sad to look at these photos because I'm like, man, I remember some of this stuff when it was first teased, and it just, I can't believe some of it's been kind of in this graveyard status for so long at this point. So,
and that being said, there's obviously some stuff here that we got to have a little bit of realistic, we got to be a little more realistic of what probably will never be made, like this right here. I mean, this is gorgeous to look at, but I mean, nevertheless. And now, me and you did have a conversation about this, like what constitutes, graveyard. And I think we kind of agree. And I admit I did swap out one of my picks because there is some stuff that ended up getting released. If we look back at these photos, like, oh man, Valkyrie. Like, I still wish we had this Valkyrie with seamless arms. Oh man, this is one of my favorite versions of her. I love this version of her.
Yeah.
But like, there is figures here that have been released. Like, for example, the 66 Joker, not Hot Toys, but the Mars Toys one. But there is other versions that have seen the light of day. Like, for example, and I think you and I agree, like that 89 Bat Computer, that's one that maybe a year ago we were like, never going to happen, but it's quite possible like that is going to happen. So I think we both agree that when we were doing our lists, we were trying to pick stuff that realistically we thought really didn't have any chance whatsoever. So we did stray away from a few things. And I did change one of my picks, just to be fair, just because, and we can talk about when he gets there. We do think that it is going to happen. But nevertheless, the graveyard is one of those terms that get thrown around. Like, and some people have said, well, when it gets there, it's going to get released. That's not always true, because for one reason or another, Drax is a good example. Licensing issues. They teased the Drax. He never saw the light of day, things like that. So it could be licensing with the character, the IP. It could be Hot Toys maybe not thinking they see the demand in the figure anymore, so they move on to something else. For any number of reasons. So for us to assume that all these are going to be made, it's a very strong assumption there, so to speak. But that being said, it's like Vulture. I mean, to be very frank, I'll say it right now. This was my number one pick. I swapped it out, but I do think that this is probably going to be seeing the light of day one way or another. I've cold-heartedly said, with MMS 700 coming around, I think we're at 695, 696. I think I forget who was 696. I think Kang was 696, if I'm not mistaken. I know MMS, the big numbers, they usually save them for an Iron Man. I think that if they're not doing Iron Man, it's going to be the Vulture. That's my opinion. If MMS 700 isn't a form of an Iron Man figure, I very well think it is the Vulture, and it could very well be justified. So that being said, that's why I removed it. But this is the list that was created. Like I said, there's some stuff on here. This is just a resource. This is all on the Facebook group pages. You can go on, over there and see. But let's jump right into it. And you're my guest, so jump into your number 5 pick of, if you had the option of or the ability to resurrect a figure from the graveyard, what would your number 5 be?
So go ahead and pull the photo up if you can, and then awesome. So guys, I mean, come on now. If you're a Matrix fan, who doesn't want an Agent Smith, guys? Now, I will say, it's funny, Ryan, and I didn't mention this to you because I kind of wanted to save it for the stream, but when you brought up this photo, I'm like, man, now that I'm looking at it, that tailoring is really not quite there in terms of where Hot Toys is now. This figure was teased quite a while ago. I want to say, what was it, 2013, 2012, something like that?
Yeah, this photo alone is from 18, so...
yeah, so actually, I may be off on that date. But regardless, guys, you could see, when you look at the tailoring, especially like the new John Wick figure, even though we only got to see this down, you could see the tailoring is much better on Hot Toys' newer releases. So I can only imagine if Hot Toys attempted this Agent Smith figure today with their current standards of paint apps and sculpt work and tailoring on the clothing, this would be a must-have for me. I do have the Hot Toys release of Neo. The first release, of course. We are getting a Matrix 4. We don't talk about that movie, but we'll talk about that figure. We do have a Matrix 4 Neo, so who better to put with my Keanu shrine of Neo figures than Agent Smith? So this is one that I'm very sad about. I've often come back to this page and find myself glancing over this figure. But yeah, I absolutely would love to see this one come to light. I don't honestly foresee it ever happening at this point, because when would Agent Smith ever come up in a conversation at Hot Toys HQ at this point? Probably never. So great to see you again, Agent Smith, but we'll probably never see you again. So maybe I'll have to go the third party route.
Yeah, it's possible. And you smoke him if you got him. You say that does the N1 count? I mean, that's up to the interpretation. I mean, one could say if it hasn't been officially released, it could still be in the graveyard. I mean, Hot Toys, they're teasing that N1. They're it's like they're dangling the bone in front of the dog. So I mean, it depends on the individual. I mean, in that's kind of where my thought process was with the Vulture. Until that gets announced, there's a PO. You could still say it's in the graveyard, and could it come out? So that's kind of up to the interpretation of the collector. Now, obviously, I know Yost was on what was Adam Savage the other night, and he said, to be fair, people are, collectors are going to get an N1 one way or another. If it's not Hot Toys, then he said he wants to do it. So either way, if you're taking that into consideration, the N1 will see the light of day. It's going to be maybe by different manufacturer, which it won't be Hot Toys if Hot Toys doesn't do it. He's respecting Hot Toys right now by saying if they don't do it, then he'll step in. But if Hot Toys does it, he didn't say he'd back off, but wait to see what they do. So as a great time for collectors, the fact is that if you really want that N1, you're potentially going to get it one way or another. So, but like I said, that's kind of where my thought process was with the Vulture at the time, but you never know. Let me jump in and I'll do my number 5, and then I'll jump into more comments real fast because mine's easy. Mine's Crossbones. I absolutely love this character. I have a third party of him. It's good. It's not what I know Hot Toys standards would be. It justifies in my collection as a great representation of Crossbones. I have him just like that. If you walked in my collection and saw him, you wouldn't suspect third party. You just be like, that's Crossbones. I think that this was a great character. I think that his story arc in the last, the Avengers movies and Civil War, it was good. I don't know if a side of me wishes that he had more prominent of a role, but I don't know if he would have been able to hold a high tier villain status on his own. So I guess looking back on his story arc, he was very well utilized, but it just is a shame because I love this design of the spray paint on the helmet. I just love this kind of suit. I love the whole everything about it. And it's a shame that we only got him for the opening credits of the opening scene of Civil War. And I know he made an appearance, in his regular version in Endgame, but this is another one for me, which it's one of those where, like I said, I have a third party representation, but that Hot Toys would give it the justice it deserves, especially the head sculpt. If they offered a head sculpt with this, it would be out of the park. So absolutely, this is my number 5, which is Crossbones.
Sure, you don't want this one, Ryan?
Yeah, I have one just like him. Yeah,
but yeah, so guys, there's actually a few third party representations, like Ryan said, but none have done it quite like the Hot Toys one. So I would love to see this one come back from the dead, basically.
Yeah, I'm just jumping through the comments and seeing what we have here. Is it the Sideshow? It is in the Sideshow graveyard. Jazz Inc. N1 5000. Well, if that ever comes to light, we will see. But we know that the N1 is going to be a big boy, and it's one of those things. Crossbones is badass. That is right. Yeah. So we're going to move on to number 4. I'll pull the picture up and get you ready going because I don't remember what your number 4 was. So that's
I got you.
Surprise for me.
Yeah, my number 4. Sorry, I had to look at my own list.
I know.
Yes, guys,
we
the
actually
Death
talked
Star
about this
Trooper,
before.
Man. I know, dude. But
I
the
love
Death
this
Star
one.
Trooper, dude. So I have the Death Star Gunner in my collection. So to have this with that amazing panel display that he comes with,
I got a picture of it for you.
Yeah, I mean that's the best part, really. I mean the Trooper looks fantastic. I love that kind of generic Trooper face that he has. But the display base makes it, right? And to have this guy standing with the Death Star Gunner, to me, would be like the ultimate little trooper display. Apart from the Snow Troopers, those are my favorite troopers. But next to that would be these guys together. I would love to see this come to light, but I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, this is one of those that could be easily forgotten. It's just a generic trooper, so. But with that being said, guys, this is another one of those figures. When we look at these depressing photos, I'm like, dude, why didn't they make this figure? I love this display base, man, and I love the trooper. I love the head sculpt. I just love everything about it, and this is one that I often go back to, and I'm like, damn, that would have been so cool if they did that. So.
The what bothers me, excuse me, I saw this photo. I would love it. I don't know what the day was on, and by the way, I don't know the dates. These are obviously very old, but I would love it if this was like USB powered. Plug this thing in, USB dude. Light up. I mean, it looks like there's minimal lights on it, but that looks so great. It actually looks like, is that a crack right there? Looks like there's even like a crack. I don't even know if that's a crack in the display.
Oh, that's probably them breaking that on the way to putting it out on display because this is from a con. You could see in the photo. This is a convention, but yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing about it is that's kind of the one thing about Star Wars, which kind of upsets me a little bit. And I guess the majority of, they're worried about, Stormtroopers, no problem. I would love to have what Insane right here. More Empire figures are always wanted. Like, honestly, give me no name generic officers, gunners, things like that, because sometimes those are just awesome to have in the collection. You know, I have to admit, I started collecting Star Wars. I got into Star Wars with uh, I'm sorry, Mando, and original, and I started going back with original trilogy. But it just, I wish that we had, like, for example, I know Sean from Hot Toys Nightmare, he is dying for, and I share my sentiments. He wants a TIE fighter pilot. So do I. I know
Yeah.
Sideshow made one. I don't know why. I want a TIE fighter pilot so bad. I want two of them behind Vader. Just a couple of extras, but I really want generic troopers. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, just to army build. I'm not saying I got to go 1,000 of them, but I really like the option of being able to have like filler troopers for diorama, because I'm starting to get into a little more dioramas and things like that. So I just totally wish that there was more of these guys like this. Even if like you got one with the display base and then you could buy a figure separate just to kind of army build them a little bit. But even like rebel soldiers, like what CT is saying, just like give us, I just want more, just one, and then we can army build.
I know.
Stormtroopers are great, but I want some variety. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope, and I don't have high hopes for it, I'll be honest with you, but I
Mhm.
hope that Hot Toys surprises the hell out of us and goes, here you go, a Rebel Soldier 2-pack, dude. Like, an Endor Rebel Soldier 2-pack would be, like, such a fantastic surprise. I don't personally see them doing it because it's really not in their realm right now, I don't think, because of all the repacks and stuff they're going to do for Return
Yeah.
of the Jedi. But if they did, dude, I'd be all over that. I really would. I would love to see
But
that.
like
So,
CT said, Empire and Rebel soldiers, pilots, gunners,
yeah.
etc. I mean, like, you call them filler, but I want that. AT pilots, like, they might be filler once in a while, but these are, I think they'd be very shocked. I don't know if they'd be shocked, but the demand, they'd sell a very good amount of these, I think, if
Oh, yeah.
these are available. But
Oh, yeah, for
as I
sure.
said, all right, so let's wrap up. Let's see what mine is, because I forgot my own list, so I'm gonna be equally as surprised,
It's
I
all right.
think.
So did I, man. So
Yeah.
did I.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. So I was going through Star Wars figures, and I was thinking to myself, I was going through the list of figures, and I was like, who, I'm not like, there was so much to choose from, and I was trying to give myself some variety in Star Wars. And I saw Kit Fisto, and I saw this figure, and I'm just like, man, a USB lightsaber, and just that look and that presence. I mean, a character, not a lot of not a lot of screen time, but he he held his own in the movies. But this is just one of those figures, like seeing him right behind, like in front of Qui-Gon back there. It would just been so cool, especially if you're army building. Jedis and things like that. It would have been so cool to see this one. I would have loved to see this. Absolutely, so great. So
Yeah.
this is my next pick here. Very sad to see this figure not actually see the light of day, in my opinion. I would have loved to have seen this one.
So it's funny. I think there is an opportunity for this one to fit in sooner than later. And I kind of talked about this at one point. For those that are familiar, I did a Tartakovsky Clone Wars 20th anniversary once video, and this was on there. And that's where I see this one fitting in, Ryan. I do see this possible. If you guys know the '03 Clone Wars series, we had Buff Fisto, man. I mean, if Hot Toys were to do that and give us like a seamless top or something that looks relatively decent, so you can kind of have him either in the Jedi robes or with that buff upper body that he had in the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, I could see this one fitting in there. But the thing is, they've been really quiet about that line, right, Ryan? Like, they haven't
Hmm.
really said much about it. We
Yeah.
got a couple announcements from it, and that was it. So I'm hoping that line's not dead in the water. I would expect them to do more. I guess come May the 4th, we'll see how crazy they really go, because we obviously have a lot of Return of the Jedi on our plates. But I do think this one has a
Still
bit more of a chance than others. I
hold out
really
the
do.
hope, as Peyton's right there. Peyton, hold out the hope. So
Yes,
I mean, it
sir.
was even cool because even in Attack of the Clones, I mean, even if I'm not mistaken, when C-3PO had his head on the droid body, he used a little force push and separate, knocked him over a little bit and gave him a little smirk and ran away. So and yeah, CT right there. They
Yeah,
could
the
have rolled him
CT. That's
over.
what I was saying.
Yeah,
That's where I could see him fitting in.
yeah.
And hopefully, again, hopefully they give us that option. People are going to complain because it's not going to look 100% perfect with that shirt off. But if they gave us the option to do like the shirtless Kit Fisto, the buff Fisto, that'd be really cool, man.
Yeah. So the next pick, which is Your number 3. This one we could probably talk a little bit more on and expand because you and I actually simultaneously we picked the same one. Totally coincidental. I had my list a couple days ago and I sent you the photo. I said, "Hey, shoot me a list." You gave me your list today, and I was like, "Oh man, number 3." So I was like, it makes sense just to merge, keep them as both our number 3s. And we'll take it from there because we can just expand upon it, so to speak. But the number 3 that we both share, which there wasn't an actual prototype made. If anyone saw one out there in a photo, you're more than happy to send it to me. So I had to pull up what we had, and then I found just another stock photo of him. But the number 3 is Kane from RoboCop 2. So, myself being a huge pop culture fan, 80s. I always say I was raised. I don't know. People nowadays, people might question your childhood if you say that you were raised on RoboCop, but for me, it was badass. And to me, I think that's a good childhood if you were raised on RoboCop, 89 Batman, Ghostbusters, and Back to the Future. I mean, I don't know how you can criticize that. But RoboCop 2, obviously the first one is still my favorite. 2 is good, and then 3 kind of falls off. Funny enough, the third one was actually the first one I saw as a kid because I was born in 87. So I kind of saw the first one, then went back to the first one, and then obviously fell in love with the first one. But this is just one of those, like, man, Robo Kane. It's one of those, man, I wish they took a stab at this. And when I did research on photos, this was the only teaser photo. It was RoboCop, and it had like a card backstock image of Kane, like a box with a printed photo on him of like kind of what it could be. But I did pull up a kind of a stock version of him I found online. But this is my number 3, and I really wish that RoboCop had a companion. I missed out on the Ed 209. I would love to have that also. I know that one had a lot of issues with the top of it kind of peeling off.
Canopy.
Yeah, so I kind of hope that maybe they revisit that and maybe give us like a 2.0 version of that figure. But for something that was in the graveyard and never saw the light of day, not even an actual physical prototype, mine's number 3. Mine's Kane. So Connor, let me hear what you have to say about this guy.
Oh man, and I know Don Prime in the chat is screaming at the heavens like, please, please, Hot Toys, because Don's a big RoboCop fan like we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, with this one, like, I have so many freaking ideas. Like, swap out battle damage parts, the TV screen face with Kane's crazy robotic face
USB powered.
in pain, USB power. Like, dude, like this, man. Like, this is up there. This is up there in terms of stuff that has been made that I would get on my knees and beg Howie in person. Like, please, man. Because again, like you said, you don't have the Ed 209. I don't either. But hey, if I found it for a cheap price, I would go for it. But dude, like, yeah, see, Don's excited, man. Like, it's Kane, dude. Like, RoboCop
says,
1
yes,
and 2
I
are
am.
both.
Yes, I got 2 yeses out of him. So there you go.
There you go. See, so he's excited then, because you know he's really excited for it. But yeah, man, I mean, this would be such a special release for me, dude. And we talk about day one pre-orders, right? I would just throw money at the screen if this came out, because this would be such a special release for me. As of right now, I do have my really small scale Kane to kind of fill that void in my heart for now, my battle damage Kane from Haya Toys. But yeah, man, this would be incredible. I had to put this one on my list, and I often forget that we even had any semblance of a teaser from Hot Toys, because like you said, they didn't really give us much. They just said, hey, look at this cool Robo Kane in the background. And then we never
I felt bad. Like, even when doing the stream, I wanted to present to those who actually are watching. And right now I'm showing 17 and watching. Thank you so much, guys. You've already excelled what my number is. In my head, if I told Connor, if I had 3 people watching us for an hour, I felt like, fantastic. But I really do appreciate the support so far that I'm receiving. Is Insane One here. Like and subscribe to my channel, and obviously, of course, the man here that is gracing us with his presence to help me out. He's my training wheels to make sure that the bus doesn't derail, and to grab the steering wheel and keep us on the road.
Yeah, I have a button. If he messes up, a big boxing glove comes out and punches him in the face, like in the cartoon.
Right in that.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's got one more chance. I almost pressed it. No, I'm just joking.
But we got a couple of questions since we're at like the 3. We have 2 left, and we kind of chewed in through the list a little bit. I figured I'd hit a couple questions. So there's some questions in the chat, and CSI has a question. He says, just a theory, but do you guys think that Hot Toys uses the Asian market demand to decide what figures to make? and maybe that's why we don't get all these figures we want. In my opinion, yes, obviously I think they do cater to certain demographics. I mean, case in point, last time I checked, we have almost 87 Iron Man figures, and they're not stopping. That's including remakes and things like that. That's why I partly, because Iron Man sells, it's a cash, it is a cash grab. They're going to milk that for all it's worth. We don't have to touch on it completely, but the new, because I'm totally out of the realm. Connor, you can school me, but like the new Black Panther figure that came out today that has like a transformer type of aspect into like the actual Panther. I mean, I know a little bit of the backstory with that, but that seems to be a new line, and obviously that has a Transformer-esque kind of feel to it, which there's a market for that. So I would suspect with Hot Toys being a company, and like I work for a private company in construction, and whenever we release a new product, there's a lot of demographic research, there's a lot of product research, competitor research, because you're not just going to blatantly put something on the market and think it's going to sell. There's obviously weight backing that as to why they think they're going to release something. So, obviously they have things planned a year plus in advance, so nothing's done haphazardly. But yeah, I definitely do think that they're catering to certain markets, absolutely, when there's figures released. Connor, what are your thoughts on that?
So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, and a lot of people seem to forget this, Hot Toys pays attention to all of their markets, really. I mean, think of it this way. Like, yes, in Asia, there are a lot of Iron Man collectors, right? It sells. There's Iron Man collectors that are completionists, and they get those Iron Man figures every time they come out. So obviously, that makes a lot of sense for Hot Toys to do. It's easy generated funds for them. But also there are releases that are announced that may be more catered towards us collectors in the U.S. or in Canada and places in the U.K., places like that, where they might not be as popular in Asia. So obviously I understand that their primary market is Asia because that's where the figures are manufactured, and I have zero issue with that. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I do think they release stuff that caters to their market, and they're also going to release stuff that caters to our market as well. Like perfect example, those Warriors of Future figures. Those obviously are primarily catered to their market. I was very surprised that those even made it to Sideshow. But it's really cool to see stuff like that, and I learn about new shows and things like that through some of those releases because I'm not very, very exposed to that content over in Asia. So I think it's pretty cool that they kind of cater to different markets with some of their releases for sure.
Absolutely. And then another question, Control Delete, he posed it. Has there been any graveyard figures that have been resurrected? And like I said, I mean, we could cycle back, and we can even kind of, maybe we'll circle back at that at the end because we're kind of in the middle of doing our countdown. Excuse me. But yeah, they're definitely, and once again, it goes back to the interpretation of graveyard. Like, what is that considered? I know, and like Connor, you can chime in on that, but like, the coming soon page on Sideshow's website, people consider that the graveyard page, when it said coming soon, it just sat there forever. But like, let's remember, and I'm trying to think, like when I was collecting, I know when I started collecting in middle of 2020, the Batman Forever, Batman and Robin were on the coming soon page. They were pushed around. And those are, I love Batman Forever. It's my there's movies that just capsulate your childhood. That was my childhood growing up. He's 89 Batman, but I love Batman Forever. I mean, it was silly, it was campy, it was out there, but I loved everything about it. And I have those figures right behind me. They're right there on the shelf.
Back here as well.
They're right there. So, yeah, there definitely are figures that have, come from the graveyard or coming soon page. I just use the word graveyard because I thought it was, it was good. It was a good title, Graveyard Resurrecting. I thought it was a nice title for the stream.
A great example for this question, Ryan, is Padme, because Padme was sitting in the graveyard for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's a figure that like truly got resurrected from the dead. Padme was in the coffin, nailed shut. The hole was dug, dirt was thrown on the top, and then Hot Toys said, "Hey, Padme, you still in there?" Ripped the top off the coffin, pulled her out, and she's on pre-order now, guys. So that's a perfect example of one that completely got resurrected. Like a lot of people lost hope on that one. A lot of people, and admittedly, a lot of us did because. It really didn't make sense, right? But then when we got these anniversary figures for Attack of the Clones, then we're like, okay, now we got our chance for Padme. So yeah, it really sometimes that's what it takes. It takes something that makes sense for them to pull it out. Like I said earlier, and CT603 had also agreed with that. The Kit Fisto, we could see him pulled from the grave for the 20th anniversary of the Tartakovsky Clone Wars series because, again, it takes stuff like that to possibly pull some of these figures out. Now, some of them, they unfortunately don't get that luxury where there's nothing that makes it make sense for Hot Toys to say, okay, let's go back and take a look at this one. So,
Yeah, 100%. But like I said, when I was putting this together, this list was slightly changing. I had this idea for about 2 months, and I know you and I actually, Connor, when we started our 2.0 series on your stream, which is tomorrow, by the way, 7:30 on Connor's channel, Hot Toys Hotline 2.0 or Leave It Alone. That's a series that we were doing for how many weeks now? A couple months. And I had this idea for this topic. And as I was like compiling this idea, this graveyard list was changing, adding, removing, so, and I don't doubt that this, people who watch us on the replay, this is not a complete list. This is as best of what we have as a resource because it's always changing. So, I mean, there's other figures out there like Shazam. Do you count that as a graveyard? They just teased it. We never actually saw a full prototype of it, but maybe one considers that because there technically is a prototype because there was a photo taken of it. So one might consider that a graveyard figure. But to me, I'd like to see a full proto. Well, we're talking about a figure that never saw a prototype in Kane. So the interpretation of the graveyard is definitely open to the collector. We're just doing our best to have an enjoyable conversation. It seems to be a lot of people aren't agreeing in our list and, overall of what's going on. But I definitely think that the idea of the graveyard is interpretation to the collector themselves. But yeah, see, had me happy because of Love and Thunder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a factor as well, Don. Well said. Yeah, because them and this kind of goes with Don. This goes with that Vulture as well because now that we got our boy Keaton back in the Flash movie, we're seeing an '89 Batman again. So it's like if they're getting the likeness for the '89 Batman and the Flash Batman,
didn't they talk about the Vulture getting a sculpt at one point?
Yes, Hot Toys did say it was getting a sculpt, or excuse me, Sideshow did say that Hot Toys told them it was getting a head sculpt as well as real leather on the jacket. They mentioned that at the most recent con that it was showed off at. So.
And CT makes a very good point. I think timing, he says, I think timing also plays a role. They had a second chance at Padme with her Thor, God, and Thunder figure release.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we can all agree that Hot Toys, I'll be the first one to say, like, I'm a 2020 collector. I'm not one of those that claim to be, around like a veteran, but I mean, Hot Toys sometimes does have a hit or miss track record of releasing figures. They use the phrase strike when the iron is hot. They don't always strike when the iron is hot. Like She-Hulk as an example, like they teased Daredevil and we randomly got a Daredevil, like no rhyme or reason, or, like the N1 is a perfect example. People thought that, the premiere of Mando, N1, this episode, N1. Well, they showed the N1 in 3 episodes. Oh, it's gotta be, so far there's no N1 right now. So sometimes Hot Toys, and obviously there's things in the back burner, like in the background, we don't know what's going on, but the reality is, they don't always strike at the right time and they release stuff in a random format. But nevertheless, Connor, we are going to go back to your number 2 when you're ready.
Ooh, this one hurts, guys. This one hurts. Baze freaking Malbus, man. Now, the main reason this is my number 2, guys, is I have basically a complete set of main character figures from Rogue One. And my boy Church just chilling there without his best bud. And I'm like, come on, man. And not only that, you got to agree, guys, this is a beautiful prototype. I think it looks fantastic. I love the sculpt. I think the sculpted hair for the time looks pretty good. I like the weathering on his blaster. I mean, overall, like, this is such a special figure, guys. And I would love to see this one somehow get dusted off and brought back to the forefront. But
you want me to tease you with that group photo? Hang on a second. I got it for you. I'm sorry.
I got the
group photo for. I got the photo. What could have been.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that sucks, guys, is like I said, everyone here in this photo I have other than Baze, and it's like it stings, man, because Rogue One is such a beloved film for me, so much so that I went and saw it when it reappeared in theaters again not long ago, last year. So I would love to see this figure somehow get dug out in some form or fashion. If he shows up in a show somewhere, I'm going to be holding out hope for this one because, yeah, this figure looks great, guys. And I'm looking at it again here. I'm like, man, this is a really nice prototype. And to be honest with you, I like all of the sculpts from the Rogue One line. I think they were all fantastic. Not pictured here is Krennic. that's such a fantastic likeness to Ben Mendelsohn,
That's
and
one of the
like,
best ones, I think, in terms of sculpt
dude,
wise.
it's so good. And then in everything here, you got the Felicity Jones, Jin Urso. You got our boy Churrit, Donnie Yen, who's really popular right now because of John Wick, and we're
Ooh,
going to be getting a
John
figure
Wick,
of
let's
him,
go.
Kane.
I
So
finally got a chance to see John Wick. So
yeah, so I still haven't seen it. I'm gonna be seeing it this week, but yeah, man, this one just gets me excited and sad at the same time because I would love to see this one get kind of dug out from that graveyard, man.
so this photo represents another topic idea, which I don't mind saying, but I had another idea for a video. Maybe I'll do it as a live stream and get people's. I like getting people's comments back and feedback. But one of the video ideas that I had was it was about Hot Toys as a company and kind of things that I wanted from them. I expected from not expected, but things that I wanted from Hot Toys. And what I meant by that as a company, and there were criticisms because I think everyone deserves to get criticized because it only makes you better. Criticize, negative feedback, or you take it constructive. And one of the things that I kind of had, and obviously, like I said, there's more things in the background in terms of why some figures don't get made. I say Drax as an example because I know there's licensing issues with him for Volume 2. But one of the things that really irks me about Hot Toys is how many times they don't finish a line, incomplete figures. So like this, for example, this is like a photo of what could have been, but they didn't finish the line. That is definitely one of the things that really irritates me about Hot Toys. And that is something, I won't lie, that really prevents me from going all in on certain lines of figures is how complete are they going to go. A very good example of coming up is I know that they're going to be doing the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 figures.
Hmm.
I made it very clear I will not get any Guardian figure unless I get the whole line. I tried getting Volume 2 because Volume 2, the style of Volume 2 was my favorite, but they were
Yeah.
still incomplete because of Drax, and he's going for such a ridiculous price. People are piecemealing figures together. I would love to have a Guardians Volume 3 complete team. I'll even take the Groot on steroids, whatever it is, but I want a
Ooh,
complete team,
ooh.
regardless. But that's kind of one of the things that irks me about Hot Toys is they'll do a line of figures and then one is missing, or they'll do that or do that. And obviously there's reasons, maybe because a property doesn't do well, or character license not approved, whatever it may be. But yeah, this is an upsetting photo that this could have been in a display like this.
Yeah, man.
This is really upsetting. And like I said, even the detail, I think I had one more. If I'm not no, that's my number 2. So we'll just jump into my rookie
Might as
mistake
well
right there.
now.
I showcase my number 2 is Yellow Jacket. I love this figure. I wasn't too keen on him as a character in the movie at first. Like it was kind of like kind of thing. But I love this black and yellow. I love this figure. Like it looks so good. If this was in a display, it just pops. There's certain color contrasts that I love: black and purple, black and red. This black and yellow would look just so great. And it's one of those things where I'm a villain person. I love collecting villains.
Oh
There's
yeah.
certain figures I'll get just because they're villains, like Gore, like Love and Thunder. Thought it was a train wreck of a movie, but I'm definitely, Gore's coming home just because he goes in the villain shelf. There's just certain, like Kang. I haven't seen the new Ant-Man yet. I haven't had the ability to go see him. I'll probably wait till that movie comes out on Disney. But like Kang, I know enough where I'm getting Kang. That's a villain. I'm getting him. He's going
Yeah.
in the villain section. And so this is one of those where I really, really, really wish that we had this. I don't think they do enough villains to give good contrast to the heroes. And that's a good point with John Wick. Like with Chapter 4, like we need Donnie Yen. We need that figure with John Wick. Just to pose them together. John Wick needs such good, it's such good contrast in those characters, and having them on the shelf together, you can do so much posing. And that's something like right here with Ant-Man is that, with the first Ant-Man, this is just such a miss for me. As I said, we don't know the real reason why I didn't see the light of day, but if I had the ability to resurrect this one, as you can see, I had Crossbones. I have, I have this one here. I'm a villain person. I'm showing some favoritism to the villains, but this is one that I wish I could. I would love to have this figure in the collection if possible.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
what are your thoughts on this guy?
I agree, dude. This is a really cool figure. Didn't make it to my top 5, however, it would be on that list of one that I really do want to see, especially because that MODOK figure is definitely very
Hmm.
possible. We saw it in that teaser. So how cool would it be to have MODOK and then Yellow Jacket next to each other to kind of show an evolution of the character? So, um, This would be really cool, dude. I agree. This suit just pops, man. That black is really black on the suit, so it makes that yellow pop so well. And not only that, I want to point out that miniature yellow jacket is super cool, man. Like I really, really dig it. I think this is awesome, and I love that little mini yellow jacket. I love that they include that. So I agree, man. This would be a really cool one. This would definitely be one I pick up, and I have a best friend that's local to me that collects, and this is one that's like really, really high up on his list too, and he's always bringing it up. So I think a lot of people would be excited to see this one if it ever came
And
back
you know
on this
what? When I
list.
was flipping through the photos, I just couldn't help it. It caught my eye every time. Every time,
Yeah.
just the color pop. And like what CT says here, Hot Toys seamless bodies have come a long way. She-Hulk, Bane, and I do agree with that. Is that and that's one. If you go back and look at the previous photos, I don't want to move around because we got our number ones here, but you go back to that Valkyrie from
Yeah.
Ragnarok, and that one there has the joints, but you just imagine that figure seamless, like because I love that look. So you're 100% right, and in terms of the Drax, and I just know that I know with Drax, and I'm not trying to speak like I know, but I don't know when it comes to wrestlers with WWE. I know there's a lot of like The Rock, John Cena. There is likenesses. Like I know, for example, WWE has a lot of input on licenses, even if they're former wrestlers. Like The Rock, I know has his license. Like he has his name, the rights to his name. Like WWE still owns the rights to certain wrestlers' names. Like they
Like
can't use their names without
Casca
permission.
Reeves, Mercedes, Varnado, they own her likeness. So
Exactly. So like we said with Drax, it could be character, it could be him. It also could have been WWE or something like that. You don't know. And as a matter of fact, they just got bought out by the UFC today. So I mean, you don't know what's going on with that. Just like for example with Peacemaker. Why didn't we get a helmet like a John Cena complete sculpt? It could be one reason or another. Maybe the likeness, too much money, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like I won't try to pretend, but that's maybe with Drax, and like even in the new movie, they're all wearing the suits. So I'll even take him in full suit. I know people have been commenting on Drax. Batista's, he's bigger, gained a little more weight. So, but with the suit on, I'll still take it, even if that's the last Drax, because it's gonna be the last of the lineup. So I'll take it regardless. But just checking out the comments, yeah, Modoc and Yellow Jacket 2-pack, Hasbro has delivered Drax. And like I said, that original Drax, it's due for a lot. Like Drax is one of those figures. He really deserves to be done right, because that first version was just very inferior to what it could be now, with a seamless body, a little more beefed up, something like that. So, justice for Drax. I'll put it that way. He's got one last shot, in my opinion. So, but that being said, we're going to move into our number one picks.
guys,
Now, I think was it CT? I think CT made this comment
couple people did.
way.
Couple people
They
did.
made
I've
this
been watching.
comment. I know I saw CT make this comment. I know a lot of people made this comment. I think, and this is total coincidental. Oh, I told you I changed my first pick, but I think our first picks we're gonna go vehicles.
Yeah.
Why not, right? Because if we could resurrect anything, if we could wave our magic wand, the little Harry Potter action, and resurrect something, Connor, what would it be? And
Before we pull it up, Ryan, guys, if you
all right,
know me, primarily what am I? I'm a Star Wars fan at heart, right? Right, guys. Apart from all the other stuff I love, Star Wars is number one. So if I'm resurrecting a vehicle and my favorite character is Anakin Skywalker, it's got to be the Anakin Starfighter, dude.
hang on
Like,
a second. I had a rookie moment. There you go.
there we go. So the
Right
Anakin
two.
Jedi Starfighter, dude. Like this to me, out of all the stuff I've seen Hot Toys do, where I'm like, holy crap, I need that. Like, guys, the opening scene of Revenge of the Sith, Anakin and Obi-Wan are in their starfighters. I absolutely love that scene. At the end, they park into their hyperspace rings and take off. Like, man, like this is such a beautiful vehicle. I have two Anakins. I have the dark side and light side Anakin. I would gladly, in a heartbeat, pull my light side Anakin out of my Revenge of the Sith display and throw him in the Starfighter and not consider changing it any other way. You know what I mean? I absolutely love this vehicle. It's so nostalgic to me, being that Revenge of the Sith is one of my favorite Star Wars films behind Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. I would love to have this, guys. And I do think in terms of size, and you could see it here actually next to the Hot Toys quarter scale Vader, I think this is something that would be very doable in terms of the scaling. This might be one. It might be pulled out of the depths, maybe for the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith when that comes up here soon. But I would love to see this become a thing. And now, I do think that the N1 being released by Hot Toys will kind of set the precedent for stuff like this happening in the future, right? Because that is a very large vehicle. And I think that if they truly do take a stab at that N1, which I do think they will, I think that's going to kind of lay the ground for maybe some of this stuff to see the light of day further down the road in the future. Maybe not anytime soon, but maybe one day we'll see this one get dug out again. Maybe when they decide to make another Anakin Skywalker figure, they'll dig this one out, you know?
Insane one, chill. TIE Interceptor. I'll be all day. TIE Fighter, all day, all day. Yeah,
TIE Advanced.
Jedi
You're
Star.
both wrong. TIE Advanced.
I'll tell you, well, like CT says, vehicles all day. And that's the one thing about it, which is really cool. Once again, I got so many video ideas, but one of them was, as a collector, I really think that you're restricted by, we're not all millionaires. We can't afford to get everything. And so we got to pick and choose our battles. And sometimes money restricts us or space restricts us. And I know you and I both had DTOFs as of last year, and literally like right around the same time, we got rid of them and we built the DIY garage shells behind us. And ever since I got the DeLorean, I know other larger vehicles, DeLorean's the largest thing that I have to date, but it really opens up your mind and possibilities of like, this isn't out of the realm of like, I can't get this,
Yeah.
And like with vehicles, I'm not saying I'm gonna get every vehicle, but like 89 Batmobile, that's coming home. Like I have the ability now to think like if this was actually released, like I have a space for this. There's a place for this. Or like the N1. Space doesn't now limit me in terms of, and that's a big thing as a collector, is that you really have to be forward thinking if you want to maintain a consistency in any hobby. It could be collecting memorabilia, baseball card, it could be anything. I think that's really consistent. And yeah, CT, I'm with you, man. 70, payment plans, and that is a reality. Like for me, I use a spreadsheet. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I budget everything, and I have a certain number every month that I'm okay with. And that, if that number is equal to 4 different figures on payment plans, it doesn't matter. It could be one big one, 3 small ones. If I'm at that number every month, I'm good. And that's how I budget myself. And I tell Connor and I tell other people, like, if I get something, I want to try to pay off 2 figures before I add another one. Like take 2 off, add 1. I don't want to just keep adding, because that's how you get yourself in a hole. So I try to pay off, like I just paid off Bo-Katan. I freed up spot where like that was my second payoff so far. So I might grab something else if it comes out. So it kind of keeps me balanced. But like I said, this vehicle, man, like, yeah, this is ideas right here. I love this. And I agree with what you were saying. I think that the N1, we're just assuming, but if the N1 does get made and it's received well, that's going to open the door up, because right now the DeLorean kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. And I will say and if I was Hot Toys, and once again, when DeLorean Gate was going on, I would have dropped that N1. I would have done everything I can to drop that N1. Now, granted, DeLorean Gate has kind of smoothed out because there's no DeLoreans right now until the next wave comes out, whether that's retooled or not. But in my opinion, if I was Hot Toys, I would have done anything I could to drop that N1 to get that out there to kind of, get people focused on something else. But this right here, this Anakin Starfighter, I mean, I love this. I remember going to see this movie when it came out, midnight release, when I was in high school and going to school the next morning. Like this, it just brings back memories. I would love to have this thing so much. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. And speaking of vehicles, I'll do my final one. And I did switch this up. Oh, of course, you know what it is. I showed you what it is. It is.
Oh, that's right. You did show me.
Falcon
My mind was going elsewhere, dude. You know what I was thinking? I'm like, man, is Ryan going to ask for a BVS Batmobile?
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But yeah, this is my number one. Now, like I said, I will admit my number one was the Vulture. And Connor kind of talked sense into me by saying, listen, you really want to pick that as your graveyard pick because, there's more of a chance of it coming out. And, I started thinking, I was like, yeah, you're right. All right, let's just say the Vulture, that has a bigger chance of coming out. But what's next to that? Now, this goes back to what I told you about my space. And, what did Don say? Yeah, it's one safe Jazz Maze. He might have the money. This is one here right here where, if it was made, I have the space for this. This will look really cool in my display, lit up. And I'll be very honest, and I'll address maybe the elephant in the room. People are going to say, well, Jazz Inc. made this. I know for a fact, for when it comes to me and buying stuff, I have to weigh the financial cost, and the financial aspect plays a big deal in it for me. So if Hot Toys made this, it's probably going to be cheaper than Jazz Inc. Probably would be. That being said, yeah, people are going to say, well, it's not going to be as high of quality. I get that 100%. As a collector, it's what are you willing to compromise? It's all about compromise. Like, what are you willing to compromise with? It's like that 89 Batmobile. Jazz Inc. is going to be a higher quality at a higher price. Hot Toys is going to be a lesser price, and it's going to probably be a step down. That is what the reality is. So as a collector, what are you willing to compromise with? For me, I was okay going with the Hot Toys 89 Batmobile because I'm also getting the Hot Toys 89 Batmobile Batman figure. So for me, it's about it's about balancing. That's all it is. No one tells anyone how to spend their own money. But for me, that's why I know that Hot Toys, if they did this, it would be a cheaper price. But I think this would look really great on my display. USB lit up. It just looks awesome. The figures in there. I mean, even if you left it empty, lit up, or you put a couple figures in there, either way. But that's my number one. Like I said, the Vulture. We'll jump through a couple comments. Yeah, like he said, like what did he say? Payment plans help a lot. Planning, discipline, sacrifice. That is what it is, man. It's about sacrificing, and discipline as a collector. There's so much stuff out there, and you just got to pick and choose your battles sometimes. But yeah, that's my number one. I just love this photo, and I would love to have this on my display. I have the space for it, and that's my number one. So, what is Jazz Inc. is beautiful though, but you got people who are buying Ghostbusters. Things are pricier than this Falcon. Yeah, I mean that's very true. But like I said, as a collector, we all have to make our own decisions. And like I said, what are you willing to compromise with? So, like I said, that's what are your thoughts on this cockpit? Like I said, I know Jazz Inc. did theirs, so it's not this isn't totally original. There's one out there by another company that was made.
Right.
But what are your thoughts? And do you think that Hot Toys would ever possibly take a stab at this?
Yeah. So I want to say I think if I was gonna get one of these, I would have bought the Jazz Inc. For me, I'll be honest with you. As much as I love the shot of the whole crew here with Ben and Luke and Han and Chewie all together, I don't see myself sacrificing the full display of those figures and shoving them in this cockpit. I really don't. I absolutely love my New Hope display. It's actually one of my most complete original trilogy displays. So to take them all out of that display and shove them in a cockpit, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. That's why I was telling you before the stream started. I'm like, dude, a better option for me personally would be like them sitting in the main corridor playing Dejarik at the Dejarik table. I think that would be more ideal for me because it's more of an open space. You could see more of the figures. Obviously, that's going to take up a crap ton of room, so that's a whole nother conversation. That's like a coffee table piece, just like this one is, but I still think it would be really cool. Do I see Hot Toys doing it anytime soon? No, I don't. This is just something to me that's really not on their radar at all. Of course, in this whole year, our biggest focus is going to be Return of the Jedi when it comes to Star Wars, because I do think Hot Toys is going to go pretty crazy with that. But with that being said, Ryan, this is a really cool piece. I thought the Jazz Inc. was a really cool piece, despite the issues that people had with shipping. I still think it was a really cool piece.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, man. You got to give credit where credit is due. Excuse me. Not definitely, no company is perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There's no such thing because there'd just be one company making everything. That's why there's different companies out there. They're seeing where one company drops the ball, they fill a void. That's why the third parties are stepping up. Mars Toys, things like that. Yeah, I watched enough videos on that Falcon cockpit overall, and yeah, of course, some, not everything, had an issue here and here and there. And hey, listen, I'm the guy talking about the broken DeLorean, so who am I to talk about stuff being perfect? But yeah, it's a fantastic piece. It's a statement piece. So like I said, I mean, and that wrapped up our list basically. Like I said, and the reason why I chose that, it's a graveyard pick. And to go back to a previous question real fast is, while we have a few minutes left, is have figures seen the light of day? And yeah, there has been. And like I said, the N1's there, but we're not really picking that because it's been teased quite a lot. So I think there is hope for that. Same thing with 89 Batwing. Like I don't think they're doing that. That's just, it's not going to happen. And I think that was also not even 1/6.
That's 1/12
1/6 scale.
Yeah.
It was 1/12. So I mean, I'm trying to think what was here. Yeah, see, like there's the BVS Batmobile. What was?
That you're talking about something that's been shown that was
Yeah,
resurrected.
I'm just looking at the photos, like
I
the
don't know if there's anything in these photos that, as far as I saw when you're scrolling through, that has been pulled out. Apart from, I mean, you can kind of count the back computer because I do think that's going to happen, but
yeah.
nothing that's been pulled off of these photos and then been released. This is all like truly graveyard stuff.
Yeah. And there's stuff here, like we said, like the rhino. I mean, like that's not going to happen. The what else do we have here? Like the '66 Batmobile. I mean, I
The
don't see them
Avengers
doing
helicarrier.
like the
That's
helicarrier.
never
Like they're
happening.
really going to do that. Like
Yeah, that's
I
never
don't see
happening.
that. I don't see them doing that at all. But like, yeah, this is Valkyrie there. They're not going to do Valkyrie anymore. But but yeah, I mean, it's an ever evolving list. And like I said, the idea that I had there is, Hot Toys does make so much stuff, and not everything unfortunately can see the light of day, which kind of stinks. We love all to have, what we want, but
Mm.
yeah, that was pretty much it. And like I said, guys, I wanted to have this run about an hour, just got give you guys a taste of kind of trying to do a stream on my own. But I really appreciate everybody that stuck it through. This was it a train wreck? I don't know. Did I pass, Connor? You have to let me know if
I
I
think you
passed.
passed,
I
man.
might have stuttered
I
a
think
few
you did
times in
great.
there. Might have talked a little bit, but
I think you did great, man.
I
I think you
appreciate
did
that.
awesome, and yeah, you had a lot of great support here as always.
As always.
Some fantastic people in the community. So yeah, we
I,
appreciate you hanging out with us, guys.
yeah, and like I said, those who are in here, who even stopped by to say hi. We have 16 watching. That's like I said, that's more than I thought for a first stream talking about a topic like this can get droned on. I thought we had a good, it was good overall. I did very minimal. I think I made very minimal rookie mistakes. But for everybody out there that's watching, even if you watch this on the replay, I really can't. Words can't describe how gracious I am for everyone's support. Like I really can. This is very therapeutic to me. It's an escape, from what's going on. I'm a husband, I'm a father, Mr. Mom, I'm working all the time doing stuff. So doing this stuff is just a nice escape to talk to friends, to talk to people, and just share thoughts and opinions about stuff. That's what this is all about. I think it's therapeutic. It is a form of therapy, in my opinion, just to talk about what we're passionate about. That's really what this is all about. So, like I said, I'm still navigating my path in terms of streaming. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I'm trying to figure out my own path. I'm a little fish in a big pond of other people that have been doing this much longer than me. And like I said, I'm going to be doing more maybe opinionated videos that I would have pre-recorded and, but instead maybe do them live, and I'm open to streaming with anybody out there that wants to jump on board and just talk, about some different topics. So I might have something in mind, try to do something weekly as long as there's content there. But Connor, like I said, I really appreciate you taking time out to do this,
Course,
man. I really do. We're hitting that hour mark. I know we wanted to jump off. I really appreciate everybody in the chat. I really hope you guys catch the replay on this. Check out the list. Connor, I know I'll be on your stream tomorrow night, right? 2.0 or Leave It Alone, 7:30. I don't know if we discussed what we're doing as a 2.0. We got it narrowed down. You're going to surprise me.
We're still figuring it out. Yeah, we're still figuring it out. But
last minute as always. And what do you got going on? You got your channel, on Thursdays, Hot Toys Hotline. What do you got going on, man? Talk about it.
A little bit of everything. I mean, you guys know I'm always cooking up something. Definitely bouncing around some. Ryan and I have a really funny idea for a new stream that no one's done. Promise you, no one's done. And we're going to embarrass ourselves a little bit, but it's going to be for your guys' benefit. It's going to be funny. So we have another live stream that we're going to do it, and we're going to rotate it out with our 2.0 or Leave It Alone. Sometimes we might rotate this series in instead. And I promise you guys, just based on how we look, and I'll leave it at that, just based on how we look, we'll crack you guys up and entertain you.
There might be a lot of screenshotting of us, basically.
Oh, there's going to be. All my friends are going to be taking pictures of me, so it's all good. We're ready for it. Right, we're ready for it. But apart from that, I'm hoping to get my clone pilot soon. I did get mine charged from Sideshow that in Ahsoka. I will be doing a review on the clone pilot. And then there's some stuff coming out this week that I'm definitely going to talk about. I have some free time since I'm off work this week, so I'll be doing some videos on some stuff that gets announced this week. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, like you said, as always, we'll be over on Hot Toys Hotline Thursday and Tuesday tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. EST for our weekly show of 2.0 or Leave It Alone. And we'll probably be announcing the giveaway tomorrow as well, guys. So I got a big giveaway coming up that Ryan has graciously donated donating to as well. So there's going to be some really good prizes, guys, and actually more than one prize. So it's not just one big winner. It's going to be multiple winners. So if you haven't already, head on over. We're going to be announcing that giveaway most likely tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll be doing a giveaway here too. Like I said, when I get more consistency, I do want to give back to the community one way or another, whether it's through streaming. But I definitely, like I said, I love everybody, love the community, I love the feedback that I'm getting, and I want to give back also. So I will, when I do 1,000 and figure some stuff out, I'll be doing giveaways as well, just to try to give back to people, because I think that's what this is all about. Not everybody can stream, not everyone can do that, either means or other. So I really want to give back to those that really support us, who've been there, who've been there for me, who've been there for you. I really want to give back also. That's what this is all about, whether it's through content or whatever it may be. And Don, cosplay or drinking stream, I don't know about that. I don't know if drinking is a good idea for what we're doing. I'm not really sure if that's a good idea or
No,
not.
we'll take lessons from Nate. And real quick, Ryan, I also want to say, since I said we'll say it at the end of the stream, congratulations, big congratulations on 1,000, dude. You earned
You
it.
just
man.
ruined
You
it
put in time.
because about 4 or 5 people are probably
we're safe now. I think we're safe now. But yeah, dude, congratulations. Whether people unsub or not, like they did to me, it happens to everybody. But truly though, congratulations.
CT's too soon, but yeah, we can take that, Joe. Give away Magic Case away.
Well, hey, CT, we don't got that budget, man. We don't got that budget for Magic.
No, we'll give it away.
We're giving away a hot toy though. We're giving away a hot toy and some gift cards, man. And no Magic Cases here.
Yeah, no. But like I said, guys, I really appreciate the support. I can't say it enough. Like I said, if you haven't had a chance to catch, you definitely want to catch this on the replay. I'll be on Connor's stream tomorrow, 7:30. We'll post it up on Instagram as always. Like I said, if you're watching for the first time, if you consider liking and subscribing to the channel, I really appreciate the support. Same thing as Connor. I have your stuff in the description. Like and subscribe over there. Like I said, we'll catch you guys tomorrow on Hot Toys Hotline, 7:30, 2.0, or Leave It Alone. We don't know what we're doing because we do it last minute like always. But like I said, everybody, have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go watch the Yankees game and hope we get a win. So have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Take care, everybody.